Oh, hi. It worked. Hello. And does this work? Do I have everything ready? Yes, it's Coffee with Curmudgeons. It is Friday, February 2nd, 2018. Not too bad. Well, you know, we tried 9:15, but anyway. I'm before hang on. Hang on.
Okay.
I have something very special.
Ooh, excellent. Now, is it just regular
Hang
special?
on.
Okay.
You don't talk.
Oh,
Hang on. And this is special. Are you ready for this? Oh wait, I gotta do this here. Sorry. You'll see. Okay, wait. Ladies and gentlemen, in the left corner, Jason Allen.
that is like Monster Truck Audio.
Dun
Sunday.
dun 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 dun.
Sunday, live from the Portland Expo Center.
I totally that was for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I was going to ask, is it
Jason Allen. Okay.
I like it. There is so much stuff we could do. We could call up restaurants and order over it.
I know.
I'll have the fries. Yes.
Can I get that with a cheeseburger?
I love it.
You know what I didn't do? Like, as if I've got enough to do today. What I didn't do is I could have preloaded the dun 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 dun. I was like, oh, da 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 da. You know.
Right. Yeah.
So there you go. There's your intro.
I like it. Yeah. We need to add other effects like the alien voice. That's always a fun one.
Jason.
Oh,
this is the devil. You have been a very bad boy.
Oh,
Anyway.
that is great. We did that one time on Anarchy years ago. We did the low voice, and I did the voice of God, right?
Yeah.
And this is God, you know. And Buddha's like, I don't know. Are you really God? Prove yourself. And I go, Buddha.
Oh, hey. Oh, here.
Buddha.
There.
Buddha.
Oh, wait. That's the wrong one.
Here we go. Buddha, quit touching yourself. And he's like, you are God.
Oh, God. Anyway, so
yes. Yeah.
So
we are scaring the heck out of Mary Jo right now. She's like, woo,
I know we are.
Late. Gotta go.
We'll get to that. No, so there's been some changes here.
Right.
At the NuzBox.
Cue the David Bowie.
Yeah, there's been some changes and things, and that's why the scrambling. And actually, we were close to on time. We usually start around 9:50, right? I mean, it's usually when we start.
Ish.
Yeah. There she is. We'll get to her in a second. But anyway, so there's been a lot of changes that aren't noticeable, except they're noticeable when you do stuff like the devil or whatever.
Right.
No, it's just a brand new audio system. So whatever.
I like it. There's a lot of promise there. We can go in a lot of different.
Well, it's not just that. It just makes things more flexible and easier to deal with. And I don't have a pile of equipment that you normally don't see over here, sitting here, and so it just makes things better. So that's why the scrambling, and we're back on Periscope too. Excellent. So there's all kinds of like little. It's like when the dude tunes up your engine at the shop.
So you're saying we've just been Jiffy Lubed?
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Well, after a year. After a year and 3,000 miles.
It's our yearly tune-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
How you sound? You sounded okay?
Not bad.
Because like everything's different. So.
I can hear myself. That's
the problem is I didn't want to say anything's different because then people go, it's just different, right? You don't want to say it, but whatever. We'll just go with it. Right. So that doesn't matter. So we have a show.
Yes.
It's Friday.
Yes.
We have a guest.
Yes.
We have a big football game coming up. There's all sorts of stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
So I think at some point we'll talk about the football game. But we should introduce the guest.
That would be neighborly of us.
Yes. Won't you be my neighbor? Yeah. By the way, just while we're at it.
Okay.
Did you hear the big news? Tom Hanks will be playing Mr. Rogers in a major motion picture I think directed by Steven Spielberg.
Is it Spielberg?
I think so. Yeah, it's gonna be like Saving Private Ryan, but it's gonna be Fred Rogers or something. It's like
right, yeah.
Anyway,
let's
just go to the.
I went quiet because I was picturing him hitting my head, and I was like,
yeah.
Do I have to be on acid for this?
Yeah.
You know.
Anyway, so we should. Okay, so Jason, you're sitting in a different place.
I am.
Normally do. Anyway.
I am.
And then I got this, and then we do have a guest. We had a guest schedule, and lucky for our guest, we've been doing all this technical stuff, and she's like, "What is this? What is going on here?" But this is Mary Jo Hermann of Mary Jo Hermann's Hypnosis. What is it called?
Empowering Hypnosis.
Empowering Hypnosis is what it's called, and I'm going to pull it up. I promise. I'm going to pull the website up. So you came out here to tell us about. You're a therapist that uses
I'm a hypnotist.
Hypnotist. Okay, hypnotist. Yeah. Is there like a difference?
Absolutely. I don't do any kind of therapy. I'm not a doc or a psychologist.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. But you're a registered.
Yes, I'm a certified hypnotist.
Yeah.
So Mary, it all started when I was aged 5, and there was a blender accident.
Blender.
No, Shanna calls. She like messaged me on Facebook. She says, "Hey, Jason, what are you doing? Nothing. What are you doing? Nothing. Hey, you got to get Mary on. You got to do it. Yeah. What's going on? Fair, hypnotist. Right then, I you had me at hypnotist, right?
That's great.
And of course, the first thing I think of is, wow, I wonder if she can make me cluck like a chicken.
It's like the beginning,
and it's on the website. It addresses about clucking a chicken. That's like.
Right. Only if you want to.
She's a psychic too. This is great.
That's what happened. Like the first, I did quickly looked at the website in between running around here, and it was like, oh look, cluck like a chicken. They must have talked to Jason. Because that's all he is. That's all he is with the hypnotist. It's like cluck like a chicken.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, wow, she's good.
I mean, it's like he's obsessed with it. It's like, why would you? I mean.
Maybe it's in his past.
You know what that's like, Jason?
Okay.
That's like finding out someone plays guitar and go, "Hey, can you do Stairway?"
Yeah, Freebird.
Freebird, exactly. Freebird. It's like that's what it's like. I'm sure that's the equivalent to asking a hypnotherapist. No, not hypnotist. Hypnotist. Got to be
right.
Accurate. Asking a hypnotist, "Oh, you're a hypnotist. Can I cluck like a chick?" It's like you must just be like, how about I will find something really bad to make you do as a hypnotist because quit asking me to cluck like a chicken. I'll make you think you're chicken McNuggets.
Mm-hmm. Yes, right.
Exactly.
That's why I addressed it right off in my website.
Is it like everyone? It's everyone.
No, but it's in the back of their minds. So I like to say, I'm not going to make you cluck like a chicken unless you want me to.
That's right on your website. Right. I saw it right there.
Get it out in the open.
Yeah. Because those anarchy radio guys are morons. Because that's all they do.
You got to give the people what they want, man.
So tell us. So what is you have a practice? You have an office.
Yes.
Someone comes in. It's basically they're trying to solve a problem, right?
Absolutely.
And so for example.
We're all trying to solve problems. And I go by Joe. My name is Mary Jo,
but
I go by Joe.
Right.
It could be a ton of things. When you think of hypnosis, people think a lot of times weight loss. They'll think smoking, stress, and but we do so much more. And I always say weight is not weight. It's much deeper than that. There's emotions behind that. So I try to find out really what the root cause of it is. I even put that on my website. That way we can go from there. So I find out, I have them do a questionnaire, what's really going on in their lives. And, from there we do a session. And the session is super relaxing. And I bring in suggestions that they want to change.
Right. So when someone says, I want to lose weight, a hypnotist says, we're going to drill down to the problems that you're having with eating, which is a something deep-seated, something emotional, something different than just, because if you wanted to stop eating, or, lose weight, stop eating, guess what the answer is? Stop eating.
Stop
right?
eating, yeah.
Why
but
not?
That doesn't
right?
work because we have to eat to live.
Right, but it's like, it's like smoking. There's a simple solution to it. Quit smoking,
right.
quit smoking. But often you can't. There's an addiction. There's a problem there. There's something.
Mental barriers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And if someone truly wants to quit smoking, that's the first thing I ask. Are you doing this for you? Because if you're doing it for other people, or my doctor says I need to do it and they still got a passion to smoke, that's not going to work a lot of times. So you have to find, is this for you? Once they're really, really convinced, then, the problem can be solved that way, because the subconscious mind, you're saying to it, I want to stop this. So I go from there. And getting back to the weight, I like to find out, when did it start? What happened? And a lot of times it's stress. It could be a myriad of things. It could be something that happened in their past. They started eating and it felt like a protective layer. So you've got to find out what that was and start peeling it away. So I really love working with people, and it's nice to see the changes. It's nice to see their faces when things are coming together.
They're like mastering the problem. I think you said something very interesting there. You said you asked why they're trying to quit smoking, for example.
Right.
You used it as an example. And you said is it because someone else is telling you, or because you want to do it? That's key, right? Because
absolutely,
you're a miracle worker, Captain. Because if someone say it's like, I'm coming in here and I need to quit smoking. Let's just take a movie example. You're Lloyd Bridges. You come in off of the movie Airplane, and it's like, I really need to stop sniffing airplane glue.
Never had that one, but go ahead.
You remember Airplane, right?
Yes, I do.
Remember Lloyd Bridges at the end? Yeah. I picked the wrong day to stop sniffing airplane. Never mind. We try jokes here.
Okay.
And
sometimes they work.
Now, you did hear the voice of God that
I did.
So
it did scare me.
Yeah,
you did it. So right, it's all crap jokes. Trust me, we know. Yeah. We know.
I could help you with
that. That's not only is it hypnotic, it's a comedy writing too.
Right. Look into my eyes. No more knock jokes.
Yes. Yeah. I will make you funny. So
Mary, I get a question, Mary Jo.
Just Joe.
Every time I say Joe, I want to start singing Hendrix. Hey Joe. Hey Joe.
Go
Never
ahead.
mind.
Go ahead.
Let's get back to the genesis. When did you start being a hypnotist? What was that thing like? Oh yeah, I think I want to try this.
Well, many years ago, not that many. I was trying to lose weight, and I believe in alternative. I was living in New Mexico. I do herbs, all that kind of stuff, and I thought, okay, nothing's working, and so I went to a hypnotist, and that was an eye opener for me because it was changing my thoughts, changing my patterns.
Right.
If you do something over and over again, it's insanity, and that's kind of what I was doing. And she kind of said, okay, basically what I was telling Doc, what's going on here? What's holding you back from losing the weight? So I was quite impressed. I moved to Portland, and I thought, I'm going to hypnotherapy school. And I ended up working for an organization where we did hypnosis, and I also went to school.
Nice.
So that's kind of what started me on this journey.
Right. Because when people hear the term hypnotist or hypnotize, or I mean, we all have, I guess, our stereotypes we have in our head, right? Especially if you haven't tried something yet. You see the popular conception of what hypnosis is. When you started really learning what the what the inner workings of hypnotism is, compare that to like the general stereotype. What kind of what was the first thing that's not usually thought of when you think of hypnotism that you learned doing going through hypnosis?
It's just all kinds of things that you could work with. It's nail biting. I work with children with anxiety, and they're fascinating. They have no preconceived notions, so they can go into a trance like that. And fear of flying. People, especially here, they have a fear of driving over bridges.
Gotcha.
Not a problem we have with in New Mexico, but driving over the water. So those kind of things. And when you see, oh my God, I drove over blah 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 blah, and how they feel. So it's just I've worked with so many things that sometimes it boggles the mind, what somebody might come in for. But stress is a biggie. I mean, in many ways, we're all stressed. And if you kind of learn how to deal with that, you learn how to deal with a lot of other things in your life.
Right. Yeah. Joe, where were you 20 years ago? When I was in my teens and early 20s, I had really, I guess now you call it anxiety or especially stage fright.
Absolutely.
Because I remember back in the good old days, I was in a band and stuff, and before I went on stage, I would always I would get so nervous I would actually vomit. Right. In fact, it was almost a ritual.
Exactly.
It hasn't begun until and I think of things like that can help people on that level every day, because we all got stuff that we're anxious about, especially nowadays. And anxiety, I see like hypnotism and hypnotherapy or hypnotism as a real almost saving grace, right? That it can help someone bridge something.
Absolutely. The number one biggest fear is public speaking.
Ah, yes.
It is.
Yeah.
So I've worked with people who actually had to make a sales pitch, and they were extremely nervous, and they were able to do it. It also helps in cancer with the effects of chemotherapy, radiation, to see themselves, visualize themselves going through it, feeling good. So it has many uses, and, you're right, people have some stereotypical things about.
We all got our luggage.
Right. They think we're, doing a pendulum or, and it's nothing like that. It's extremely relaxing. And, if you've tried other things that didn't work, why don't you try something that works?
Right.
Hypnosis works. It's been around for 3,000 years.
Right, yeah. When you come in, I guess this question probably depends on what you're coming in for. But how many sessions or how long does it really take to sink it home, to get the person,
Right. It depends on what it is, but I usually start out with about 4 sessions because, it's some things can be just one. Smoking could be just one session.
Wow. Okay.
But usually for other things, it's 4 sessions just to see what's going on, and going from there. Like I did a test anxiety. That was just one session. They had to get through this one test, and they had failed it numerous times.
My SAT's coming, man.
Exactly. I wish I knew about this when I was a kid.
Right. Yeah.
I wrote my girlfriend's name on a paper one time instead of my own. I was so nervous. Score.
Right.
But, so if it, and, I've done different sessions for, college kids. They were taking some heavy duty tests, and they were so nervous and these were really bright people, but when it came to doing the tests, forget it. Everything was gone.
All these mental hurdles, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if you have this relaxation in your head, all I have to do is breathe, read the question, they passed.
Yeah. How long does it usually take someone to get into that relaxed state, right? To where they're kind of focused and to receive,
in the trance.
Yeah.
Some people go in right away, and what trance is. It's in between sleeping and being awake. It's that daydreaming state. So it's not an unusual state.
That's my perpetual state, day in and day out.
You just got into it, right? Just a few seconds ago.
Right. Now, I'm still in it.
Right.
And
most kids are in that state all the time. But I'm not saying you're a kid, but that's a good state to be in.
Why, thank you.
Right. Yeah. That's why not being that state all the time. So it just, it's funny because people who say, I really can't be hypnotized. I don't think I can relax. Usually when, I have them get comfortable in the chair, they can lie back if they want. They'll go out quicker than anybody else. I had one guy who kept saying, I don't think this is going to happen. And on. I said, well, let's just, have you sit back and I'll start the session. And he went into trance so quickly that I was actually afraid he died on me.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my God. And I looked and I was watching him. I saw him breathing. And then after the session, he goes, I have never been this relaxed.
Wow.
And a lot of people say, it's hard for me to be hypnotized. They're usually, I've got too strong of a will. They're the easiest ones because they're determined to make the change.
Gotcha. Excellent.
Wait, they're the people who don't want to be hypnotized?
The ones that say, I don't think I could be hypnotized, I'm very strong-willed, I'm stubborn.
Yeah.
They're great because they want to make that change. Their subconscious mind already has that set in there. This is going to happen. They're stubborn. I want to make this happen. That's what the subconscious mind hears.
That's because they're strong-willed. Because they already have the will to do whatever. It's so opposite. This is like, you know what I mean? It's like they resist it, but because of their strong will, they're going to have the power.
They want the
to
change.
Make the change. Wow.
Right. And most people could be hypnotized. I've never run into anybody, honestly, and I hypnotized a lot of people in the 4.5 years. I really haven't come across anybody that I could honestly say they weren't hypnotized.
See, that's.
And it's not this like big, thing. Oh, I'm going into this big trance, and it's not a. It's just relaxation. It's not this thing that people see on the stage.
See, I wouldn't be the cluck. I'd just be like, I'd be going around to the store and stuff going, these are not the droids you're looking for.
These are
not the droids we're looking for.
Right, yeah.
Right?
That wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
That wouldn't happen.
I know.
And, you could come out of trance just by opening your eyes.
It's because you have to get into the trance.
There is no really getting into trance. That's kind of where the misconception happens too. It's just a relaxing state. It really is.
What is, and this is, I did some reading on your website, which I should pull up here in a minute. What is the difference between what you're talking about, getting in a relaxed state, and the hypnotism that you do? It's hypnotism, right?
Yeah, hypnosis.
Hypnosis, sorry. And meditation.
That's a good question. A lot of people ask. Hypnosis, we facilitate, we guide you, and we use your suggestions. Okay, so meditation, to me is a little bit more structured. I mean, but with hypnosis, we're really delving into your life, your changes, your journey.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Not.
They're both relaxing.
Coaching, maybe.
I mean, certainly there's that.
Yeah.
I mean, and thank you for bringing that up because that's part of what I do as well. It's an 1.5-hour session, and the first part is coaching. I want to know what you're doing, how you're doing, And when you're doing meditation, somebody's not there coaching you. I always found it hard to meditate, but easy to go into the hypnotic state with somebody facilitating. I could do self-hypnosis too. We all can do that because all hypnosis is self-hypnosis.
Right. I mean, that's the part that confuses me between meditation and hypnosis is that it seems like you're in a similar state because meditation. Well, but meditation, you're kind of clearing your mind. Isn't that right?
Yeah,
that's the difference.
You're
right?
kind of clearing your mind and going into a journey. But like I said,
here you're more focused, right?
Yeah, I to me the difference is, and I'm probably not explaining it as well as I should. But with hypnosis, you do have someone, facilitating, working with you,
right,
coaching you to find out really, really where is this coming from. And sometimes it's not even things you think about, but as I'm talking to you and I basically feed back your suggestions as part of it too, because your subconscious mind understands your words, not mine. So if I said, you want to, lose the desire for Coke and it was supposed to be Pepsi, the subconscious mind's going to go, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right, right.
That ain't it. Wrong. So I use your suggestions. And so that's what the subconscious mind hears. It does exactly what you tell it to do. If I really want to start losing the weight, I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. I don't want those cigarettes. I want to be able to be stress-free when I'm standing up speaking. That's what the subconscious mind hears. It hears the positive.
Right. Yeah. I think, that might, as I vaguely understand meditation, I think it's more of a clearing of your, and where you're more, we're focusing on things.
Yeah, I mean, issues. That's what I say hypnosis is. It's relaxation associated with deep concentration.
Yeah. Do you give like a 2-fer or a 3-fer discount? Like someone comes in and they're like, I got to quit smoking, I got to lose some weight, I got to quit drinking Pepsi or whatever. Like, well, I can give you a deal here.
The whole laundry list. Do you have you have coupons?
Yes, exactly.
What I do is offer a free consultation, and you only work on a couple of things at one time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't work on...
It would be a big laundry list. Right?
If you come in with this, I'm like, we're going to break that down because it's overwhelming.
It's like the proverbial scroll, unroll and it goes down to the ground,
See, that would be me. I'd just be like...
Right. So we would just start with one. Keep it simple, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's because here's that thing, right? We all hear about this. I've known people who quit smoking on their own. Then and it's kind of a myth, but I've known people. Then they gain the weight, right? Because it's like maybe it's like a replacement.
It is a replacement, and you have to find something good to replace it with.
Yeah.
And eating isn't one of them.
Right.
And sometimes, most of the time, if I'm doing a smoking session, I put in there that, they're not going to use that as a substitute, food. They're going to continue eating nutritious foods, being conscious of what they're doing, replacing, going for water instead. There's other things that they can do, and I find out, what do you really want to replace that with? What can you replace it with? What could you be doing?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I waste a lot of time smoking, and there's tons of stuff I could be doing around the house.
Yeah, the time and the money. And
And this one guy said to me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I have been smoking for, I want to say, 15 years. And he actually figured out that he could have bought a home.
Oh, jeez. Oh, just from buying all those cigarettes.
In 15 years.
Oh, my gosh.
The 4 packs a day.
Oh, my gosh. Could you imagine?
No, I can't. I can't. And it does to you.
Same with 6-pack or case of beer every night.
Exactly.
It's like,
it adds up.
Yeah.
And what kind of quality of life do you have? People don't want to be around you because you smoke. You smell like smoke. You're coughing.
Yeah.
And we all know, I hope we know the effects of it.
Yeah, sure.
But there's effects of alcohol, too.
Now, did you say when you got into this, you also had to quit smoking?
No, I was overweight.
Okay.
I had lost 70 pounds.
Okay. Wow.
And it took me a while. It didn't happen overnight. Yes. And, I always say I'm still working on the last 10. But that's going to be on my epitaph. Still working on the last 10.
Tiny. Tiny.
Yes. But
so obviously it worked.
It worked. And I started out extremely slowly exercising. I used to start out 10 minutes a day. I'd be flat on the floor saying I'm dead. And my daughter would, go over me and she goes, "No, you're not. Get up." And the next day I do 10 minutes more of exercise. I added on and watch my food. I gave up processed foods. That's huge. Huge.
What another thing popped in my head as we were talking about your therapy and your counseling. Can you do something like this in a group, or does it have to be one-on-one?
No, you could do group.
Oh, okay. And so do you do stuff like that? Like say you've got 5 people and they're all trying to quit smoking.
Right.
Is that like because other ways to quit smoking, sometimes it's like, oh, you're in a group, or like, everyone knows the example of like Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever, where people get together in a group and they share their stories. Is that something that can be worked
Yeah,
into?
there's certain things. Actually, I'm going to do a small one on March 10th at the building I work in at 8885 Southwest Canyon Road.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on sugar addiction.
Oh, great.
And so
just pull it right up there again.
Please call in if you're interested.
Yeah.
977-277. No, I just said that wrong.
No, 971.
Thank you.
777-2740.
Listen to Doc, not me.
And you're over here at 8885 Southwest Canyon Road, Portland.
Right.
And this is all up on the website, empoweringhypnosis.net.
Right.
.net. Empoweringhypnosis.net.
Right.
So, yeah.
I could hypnotize. It's just I can't figure out my address and phone number.
Well, I'm, this is my hypnosis here.
Right. Exactly.
10 million computers doing things, and I'm just like, it's kind of like
multitask.
Yeah, it's like the Borg or something from the Star Trek. Resistance. You geek. You're kind of a geeky nerdy. You like the Star Trek or any of that stuff, or no?
I used to watch Star Trek, and
okay,
but as far as nerdy, what you do here, no.
No. I'm just because we sometimes make these references, or I do, about Star Trek or something. So just in case it's like
it comes out.
What the hell is he talking about?
Yeah.
You're just like
We are literally neck deep in pop culture, right?
Everything's
either a movie reference or a music reference or whatever,
So, actually, another thing, and this is, and we asked Jenna this too. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, so your job is to help people, and that's very rewarding, I'm sure. It also can be, I'm sure you have bad days or it's stressful, like any job, right?
It is sometimes,
right?
yes.
Come on. So what do you do to relax? I mean, do you like go to the movies? Do you hypnotize yourself again?
Actually, that is a good question.
Comedy?
Yes. I'm pretty funny. No,
and you're not.
Right. I hypnotize myself to say I am. But where I used to work, we would see 8 to 10 people a day. And that was
That's a lot
that was
of problems.
Yes, it was a lot to take. And some days I just get up and kind of brush myself off, saying, okay, this isn't you, this is them. And then you start thinking about, how they looked when they came in and how they looked when they left. They were happy. They were, smiling. And that, to me, is rewarding. That's very rewarding. And then I do, self-hypnosis, or I was lucky enough to have my friends do some hypnosis sessions for me. Same thing. I use hypnosis.
You you hypnosis folks must be really fun at a party. You're all sitting around.
Let's see if we could hypnotize.
Person. We said not cluck like a chicken, but cluck like a chicken.
Right.
No.
You said you'd be willing to do that. Yes.
But but this is a whole. You have a whole, like any professional, an industry group of people that you work with. Other people who do hypnosis. Right. You kind of like best practices and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I'm part of the National Guild.
Yeah.
And
what does it take to do this?
You have to
say I want to become
a hypnotist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hypnotist.
The best thing to do is go to school to be a hypnotist and be a certified hypnotist.
Sure.
And I went to the Northwest Hypnosis Institute here in Milwaukee.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So,
how long does it take to?
Well,
to
his
study?
program was 6 months, and every
That's not bad.
it's two weekends a month.
Mm-hmm.
So for 6 months, and it was over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't ask me math. I'm going to say 150 hours, something like that. And so we, I think my class had. I remember all of your names. It's just I can't count right now. I think there was about 12 of us in class. So we would practice with them and be hypnotized by them. But, and I have friends, obviously, who are hypnotists. So it's nice to talk to them. And, again, we have the overseer with the National Guild. A magazine comes out every month and different techniques. There's a big conference you can go to. I think it's a couple of times a year.
Oh, great. So is there any pushback out there in the industry or whatever amongst other different types of therapies or maybe psychologists or whatever? Is there any pushback there or
kind of?
Is there?
Is there some controversy? And we don't diagnose. We don't interfere with what they do, and actually, we're an adjunct.
And you try to be very. I noticed that you're very specific about no therapy. I'm doing hypnosis.
That's
I'm
what
not
I
doing
call
therapy,
myself.
right? Because you want to make sure that.
Yeah, because it's a different modality. I don't I'm not going to work with someone who's got chronic addictions or schizophrenics or any of those kind of diagnoses. That's not what I do.
Yeah.
No, that's what they do, and I don't want to cross the line. And
it's more like you're trying to, for example, one thing that this is really good for is breaking habits, right? That's the habitual.
Right, it is. I mean, doctors nowadays, how many minutes do they really have with you? So you
not
come
a
in
whole lot.
No, you come in, doc, with lots of different problems, and say weight is one of them. Do they really have time to do that? They have time to just zone in on one thing.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where we come in.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, have you thought of hypnosis?
Mm-hmm.
To help. Do they have time to say, hey, doc, you need to quit smoking? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that doc does all this, by the way.
No. Luckily, I don't.
So, they don't have time for that. So then why not use an alternative? We've been around for a long time. And
yeah, I always, when I, and we've talked about this before on the show, Jason, when we were growing up, you'd always, watch a talk show or something, Johnny Carson or something, and they'd have the hypnotist on, and it was the cluck like a chicken. Oh, look at the watch.
Exactly.
And you'd be like, and it's cool parlor tricks, Las Vegas,
right.
But when I started learning and seeing that there were people who did this, and I've always been like, that stuff on TV seemed kind of shady. But I've always been really open. Like I've always thought, that's because it's like we hypnotize ourselves into these habits.
Absolutely.
Right? Because we reinforce it. A good example is, when I was coming up and I was young and I was a musician and taking lessons and stuff, my teachers would say, when you do something wrong, your technique on your instrument, your teacher would be like, oh, hang on a second. Because the moment you do it once wrong and you do it again wrong and again, you're stuck, right? And if you practice in a musical instrument and you practice like some technique sort of thing, right? And you do it wrong and then you have to go back and fix it. Oh, it's hell to go back and practice and fix that. And every, like even the great musicians, I think, have had moments there with their instrument where they had to go, I need to sit down and fix this problem because I have reinforced this in my brain now.
Right. It made it a habit.
And this to me is, like I said, I'm just observing, but this feels like this is some of what you're kind of tapping into a little bit.
It's just changing habits.
Like reprogramming.
Right. Yeah, habits and behaviors. We can't make you do anything you don't want to do.
Right.
Okay, so this is all you. So when you come in and say, this is something I need to change, I need to get on that plane so I can travel, enjoy my life.
Oh, yeah. Well, you mentioned like around here, the bridges, driving over bridges. Yeah. And luckily I've never ever had a problem with that. But, even you're sometimes driving and you've got a passenger and they're like, and you're like, oh, you don't like this, do you? And you're kind of like, I get it. Yeah. I get what the fear is. It's probably not, same thing as like getting on a plane. I get the fear. See, it's safer than most modes of transportation,
Right. But if you're afraid of it,
you're afraid of it.
You're afraid of it.
Yeah.
And
it's not necessarily like fear of flying is not necessarily irrational.
No.
Because if something goes bad, you think, wow, as pilots say, that's a bad day.
Right.
And that's literally pilot speak for, air disasters and stuff. We had a bad day. Because they, pilots are so focused on what they're doing that they try to downplay, how bad it really is. But then again, the safety record and the fact that, between getting in your car and just driving around or getting in a plane with air traffic control and all the computers and everything and highly trained pilots with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of flight time and all the support people to making sure that plane, mechanic, I forgot to change the oil in my car, right?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? You don't do that in a plane.
Right.
It's like, bingo, time's up, get it into the shop, get the mechanics on it, So it's pretty darn amazing and pretty darn safe,
Right. But they feel a lack of control a lot of times.
Absolutely.
Like in your car, I realize what you're saying. You're behind the wheel, you're hitting the gas, you're hitting the brakes. But when you're in the plane, people feel like, I don't have any control.
See, my friend, you ever get in the car and you're the passenger? Oh, yeah. And you're like, oh, I don't want to, I don't ever want to be a passenger in my mom's car. And then it's no joke.
No.
And that doesn't need hypnosis. That probably is factual.
No, yeah.
Anyway.
I actually had that conversation with my mother. I'm never getting in the car with you again.
Yes.
Ever.
Yeah.
The day I got my license, I was one happy camper.
Yeah.
That's it, Mom. Love you.
Yeah.
Now, we just touched on a little bit ago the fear and phobia, right? When you're dealing with like hardcore phobias, let's say agoraphobia, the fear of the going outside, or some people are afraid of water, or some people afraid of heights. These are like deep rooted sort of states of mind almost. What techniques or some of the techniques you do to get through to those deep phobias that are almost, I don't know, debilitating in nature, right? Especially stuff like agoraphobia, where I'm not going outside, forget it. What is some of that? I mean, how do we get past that?
Well, if you were...
And Joe, I'm going to have you side-eye him just a little bit so you're better on the mic. That's okay. Start doing a break.
We're peeking around the phone.
Hi! You know what? It's not... we learn this process here as we go, too.
Okay.
It's like we're not nervous. We're just... Anyway.
So if they were agoraphobic, we would probably do that session over Skype because they're not coming out of the house.
Okay.
So that's available too. You could do that for that one. Okay. But basically, when you're working with the fears, you could try to find out, what started. You don't want to traumatize anybody. So you want them to see it in a whole different light. Gotcha. So you're in the plane. Yeah. All right. There's like Doc said, there's a pilot, there's a navigator. When you hear the plane take off, this is a good sound, So just making them really comfortable in the sounds that they're hearing, that they are, in control, because they're in control of what they're doing and how they're handling it. Gotcha. Breathing, relaxing. Yeah. I make them bring the session with them. So they could listen and realize that they really are in a safe environment.
Right.
Yeah, and and they're going to get a lot of pleasure out of this trip, most of them, right? If it's not a business trip. But you're going to go to Italy and you're, going to go to France. Just think of what you're going to be doing. Picture that. So you kind of just totally relax them. And there's different techniques, but that would be kind of a basic one.
But I have a fear of the French.
Francophobia, right?
Oh, there you go.
Then don't go there.
Yeah, no.
See, that would be an easy one.
So that's a bigger. So agoraphobia. That seems to me like a bigger nut to crack than just
kind of debilitating, right? I mean,
it's,
something that impacts
that impacts your entire life.
Yeah,
if you don't want to go out, but like I said, we can do it. I mean, we could do any session over Skype. Mm-hmm. Me meaning me, because there's only one person there.
But it seems to me that you would again that would be, like you said, you've had success even with like people smoking or whatever, and it's only takes a few sessions, which good for you. That means you're pretty good at that. But it seems like something like that would be like take a long time.
It might, but you get to a point where you don't want this in your life anymore, right? Yeah. Because that's why you're knocking on the door. I'm done. I'm done with this. And so when you really are convinced, it's easy. You start out slowly. It's not like you're going to say, hey, go out the door now. Go to the, grocery store. I mean, you have to do it gently. Let's open the door. Mm-hmm. Let's go there. It might not take 4 sessions. It might take more.
Yeah.
But isn't it worth changing your life, having a life?
What's the I don't know if you can answer this without being too specific, and we certainly don't want you to be real specific about things. But what's like the hardest, most difficult thing you've encountered?
Oh,
that's a great question.
It is.
And again,
I do have the answer. I just don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it was weight loss. It was some of the stories that caused somebody to gain the weight.
Oh.
And the story was so traumatic that.
So yeah. So that's actually where Jason was going with this, and where I. Do you delve into going back into early trauma? And trauma, like in childhood trauma, like, no. Obviously, we don't have to get into specifics, but we know what they. All right, so that's my alarm. I have no idea why my alarm went off or why it was even on.
Right.
There you go. Anyway.
Those, they might tell you those things, but it's not mine, to dig and ask those things.
Right.
I'm not trained for that.
Is there because is there hypnosis? Like the reason I ask is I've come to believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that there are people who do hypnosis, or maybe hypnosis / they're also therapists, where they delve into like childhood trauma and that sort of thing as well, and that they can like maybe kind of address issues that have been, for example, people push bad memories and bad things that happened to them in their past down.
Well, they do, but if they mention it, then I could use that suggestion, about that's not, you're not there anymore, you're not, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not going to go back and try to dig and say, okay, Jason, sometimes I can ask a few questions to say, well, where do you think this started? Yeah. Like with the weight or something like that. But if it's really a very traumatic event, I don't really, I'm not trained to make them relive that.
You don't necessarily go into that.
But sometimes they'll just blurt it out, and then you've got to deal with that.
Now, but are there others who do that?
Well, that's where psychologists, psychiatrists, social workers, would do that more. But I mean, you can go from today on. We talk about letting that past go. You're not that child anymore, and look what you've done as an adult, and bringing from here, forward. Are you talking about past life regression type thing?
Actually, I was thinking about that, but I'm not. But I'm not specifically talking. What I'm talking about is like childhood traumas and things that happen, because some things, people later in life get addicted to drugs and things like that. Yeah. And it's because there was some very traumatic things that happened in childhood that triggered that. And if you, with that person, can go dig down and try to address that issue, this person can then potentially solve that terrible, debilitating problem that they're having in adulthood.
Or at least come to terms with it.
Right, and they usually know that that's why they're coming there. This is what they want. But again, I do a questionnaire, and, where did this start? And sometimes, they'll say, what happened? And I could deal with that. But I'm certainly not going to unfold something that's very traumatic that they don't want to talk about, If they have a certain issue that they're afraid of, like the fear of flying, I could think of, and it didn't come from flying.
Yeah.
It came from something completely different that happened when he was a kid. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. He wrote it down, and I said, is this something you want to address in session? Absolutely not. I never want to hear that again. Wow. Okay, so let's get you from today forward. Mm-hmm. To future pace you so you can see this better future. We can't really change the past, but we could change how you look at the past. Yeah. So it's not crippling.
I like that because there's that kind of like whole again in another. We're not talking about hypnosis, but therapy, and that idea that you have to go delve down into the past and dig these things, and you're kind of a little bit more like, okay, you're aware of that. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's nothing. You can't go back in time and undo anything that has happened or has happened to you. Where do we go from here to change the things you can change?
Right, and just to change how you looked at it, and to know that you were not the cause. Say it was something in childhood, you were not the cause. You were a child. So you could talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
This is nothing. You were a wonderful kid. You just, blah, 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 blah. But I don't, I want to go from here forward. And like I said, sometimes they'll bring certain things up, like the most traumatic one, she brought it up. And I was so taken back for a second that I know I welled up, and I was like, oh God,
Yeah,
I'm going to just cry in this session. And so the one thing that I blurted out was that you are unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's where we went from there. How strong you are, and look what future you are creating now.
Right. Yeah, wow. That's
Certainly didn't want her to relive what she had told me.
No. And why would you?
You wouldn't.
Yeah, no, I know. And it's, the thing is this is some, you encounter these things just in life and people, and you learn. I mean, it's topical today, right now, with all the things that are going on.
It is.
Me Too and all that stuff, and all the stuff that's happening out there.
Absolutely. So. And they just have to know that this wasn't them.
Yeah.
That, and it's amazing, what happens to children, and as adults you see them have all this anxiety, and again, they'll might give you some information and you go with that, but it's making them understand that this is nothing that they did. You didn't ask this man to attack you, that kind of stuff. So you didn't ask to be, mistreated as a child.
Right.
You were a good person.
Yeah.
So just kind of reinforcing, that this isn't something that they created.
So then, and then you can go on to address. Okay.
What do you want?
What do you want to fix now?
Yeah. What's your future going to look like? Are you going to let them have that power over you all your life?
Yeah.
Or are you going to say, no, you can't have that power. This is what I want.
Right.
I'm going to go for that career. I'm going to go for that vacation. I'm going to live my life. They're not going to hold me back anymore.
Yeah, that's... Whew.
There's something else I want to touch on.
Doc is welling up. No.
A very special moment with Doc.
Well, no, it's good stuff, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm always... Again, I admire you because you're helping people. And that's always what I think, that people who do that and solve people's life problems are always, it's a wonderful, we need lots of people like you.
Well, there are a lot of people out there.
There's a lot of problems out there.
Yeah, but there's a lot of good people out there that, and there's another area that I wanted to bring up is caretakers.
Yes.
I think that is the hardest job on the planet. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
I've often said that caretakers and people who work in that sort of more medical sort of environment.
Oh gosh.
Day to day, it takes a very special temperament. You have to be that sort of person to do that.
And do you do work with like hospice and that?
No, I haven't. I have not worked with anybody
I thought I saw that on the website, but I'm not.
No, that is in hospice. I mean, I certainly would. I would love to work with people, cancer patients and stuff like that, to help them move along, and caretakers of cancer patients, and I mean, any caretaker. I mean, you're taking care of your mom, your dad. You almost feel like, wait, what happened to my life?
Oh yeah.
I'm giving up my life to take care of this person, and they don't take care of themselves. I mean, they, I'll say, hey, what do you do for you? And there's the blankest stare on the planet.
Yeah.
Like, do you go get a massage? What do you do? Nothing.
Is there homework you can give to the person, to like a self hypnosis, or so, like when they're not visiting you, like some exercises or something?
Well, what I do is I give them the session. I send them the session. I email it, or if some people don't know how to do that, I give them a CD. I want them to listen to that session over and over. It's repetition.
That's great. Yeah. This is just what kind of what we were talking about, like with the music,
right? Exactly.
Stuff. It's repetition. It's like, now here's the way to do it.
Right.
Here's what we want.
And some people don't.
Really good.
Don't do that, and they have marvelous success as well. It's just I, think that it's really important, because, maybe because that's the way I learn.
That's great.
You know, one
I like
session,
that.
you know, the one thing isn't going to work for me. I have to hear it over and over and over.
Yeah.
I would have to hear it over and
I
over.
would. I'd just
be like, no.
I didn't get it.
Yeah, I'd be like a day out, and I'd be like, no, what was that again?
Right.
I can't, you know, it's like, yeah, no, I'd have to
Right.
download it on iTunes.
I always wish I knew about this when I was in school.
Yeah.
The tests, test anxiety, remembering.
Yeah, that was the other thing that you do is, and anyone who has kids, and kids in high school, is the test anxiety stuff. And
it's
boy,
huge.
I mean, I was a terrible tester. I was a smart kid, but when it came to the test, it was like, are you kidding me?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You know? And the thing is it's like, well, this really, everything rides on this. It's like, you know, and I have had educators later go, that is so stupid. This one moment in time where you have to test out stuff, and some people just are really bad at taking tests. They're very smart. They know the material.
Watching people's Pavlovian responses when you just utter the words SAT.
Yeah.
You break out in sweat, right?
Exactly. I think I still broke out in a sweat. When
Oh,
you said
yeah.
that. Yes.
I break out in a sweat right now. I mean, I was just having this conversation with my kid, who's like halfway, and it's like, oh yeah, so what are you gonna do about that? Because that's kind of a big deal. And it's like, well, they have the pre SATs and the
Exactly.
It's like, I'm gonna like go through all that and get ready for it. It's like, good idea, because that's, you know. So is there any tips you can give us here about that, or how that works? You just sit down with the student, or
you know, I just, again, it's relaxing knowing that they have all this material in their head, and all they have to do is take a moment and breathe. It's going to come.
Yeah.
It's there. Our subconscious mind has recorded everything, you know, so it's there. It's just getting into the zone, so to speak.
See, that's what bothers me, Joe, is that you know that actually, you know, all of us, there's so much matter up here that when you see it, touch it, feel it, it gets marked. It's in here somewhere. Somewhere it's in there. And then you're just like, where can I just jack it, you know?
But exactly what you're doing causes you not to remember.
Yeah.
So when you get that anxious state, you know, if somebody said to you, hey, Doc, remember that great movie, blah, 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 and you know, and all of a sudden you're getting anxious. Oh, yeah, I remember. I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And then you leave that conversation, you're driving home, and you go, of course I know it. Not only do I know it, but I could tell you all the actors.
Have you been spying on me, Joe?
Yes. I was in the backseat of the car.
This is me every day, right?
Yeah, this is like every single day, especially when we're doing a show, and it's like, and it's like,
you want to recall something, but it's just,
you don't remember, I don't remember, and a minute after we're done, it's like, it's, you know,
it's right there because you made yourself so anxious.
Yeah, I become so passive in that when I know when I try to think of something, whatever, and it's just not there, I automatically, it'll be my 4 a.m. thing. It'll hit me at 4 a.m. and I'll sit up and
But when you're taking a test, you don't have that 4 in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
You got to do it now.
Well, that's the thing with the SATs and all that. It's like this timed thing, and the clock is ticking, and your pressure's on. And it's just it bugs me, because I think there should be a better way to do this in some ways. I mean, testing maybe has its purpose, but it's also, I mean, there are educators who are like, you know, this is because it's unnatural. I think,
right.
You know.
Here's a time test. You've got 10 minutes. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you I wrote somebody else's name on my paper, and it was an important test.
Yeah.
I wrote her name on my paper.
Yeah. Was that your hypnosis test?
Yeah, right. No, it was when I was in high school.
Sorry,
thank God.
I couldn't resist. Come on. And it's like,
congratulations, Valerie. You passed.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Luckily, the teacher knew my handwriting.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about the power of suggestion, because when you see like things in popular pop culture, like for me, the movie The Manchurian Candidate, right?
Oh, gosh.
Somebody who has been kind of, I guess, brainwashed, right?
Well, okay, so
you've been you're subconsciously.
So I just recently watched this in the theater, the original version.
Yes.
With Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And just so everyone remembers, or maybe they saw Denzel Washington. It's set in the Cold War, and a bunch of like Americans sort of get lost or whatever, and spoiler alerts, but they get brainwashed by the commies, by the
right
to like do bad things, like eventually assassinate people and stuff in the United States, and then they're sent back to the United States like sleeper, like for example, keyword, and then oh, okay,
the Pavlovian response.
Yeah, what do I do? I just wanted to fill that in just in case people don't.
So what
know what that is.
So what I'm getting though is hypnosis isn't like that, right? So it can't just make you, like, when you hear a certain word, automatically, you become robot-like and start whatever. I mean, it is more of a rewiring of your subconscious, right?
Exactly. Again, we can't make you do anything you don't want to do, and brainwashing. They're using a lot of different techniques that we would never even think about.
Yeah.
Okay? Remember, they're using torture. They're keeping them up all night.
Drugs, too.
Drugs.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that stuff. See, it's okay. Right. It's okay. You're not going to get brainwashed.
No, you're not.
Joe here.
Nothing like that.
No, but it's those stereotypes we talked about before, right? Everyone's got these stereotypes, and when they see it either on TV or you hear about it or you read something about hypnotism, right? You get these little pictures in your brain. Oh, that's what hypnotism is.
Right.
When really it's quite a lot different.
It's so relaxing, and there's nothing evil about it. We're just working with the subconscious mind, relaxing you, helping you change behaviors, habits. That's all it is. It's just, and that's why you come in for a free consultation to find out, because it's nothing like they show on TV. I mean, it's just, that's entertainment. I mean, certainly there are stage hypnosis.
Yeah,
and those things are real, but that's a different type, and they're willing to do it.
Yeah. Let's get out all that information again, like where you're located at and how.
Let's do that. I just wanted to put a discllmer there to make sure Joe is clear on this, that she does not work for a 3-letter agency.
Absolutely
secretly.
Not. Empowering Hypnosis. There's no secret.
Yes, Mary Jo, if that is your real name.
Exactly. It's very relaxing. Angela Lansbury will come to you. She'll say a few words, and then you'll kill the senator, okay?
Right.
Very relaxing.
To what Doc
very
just
relaxing.
Said,
no big deal. Not a big deal. Don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it.
Can we just bleep that out, what you just said?
It's the murder she wrote.
Yeah, we'll cut that down in the editing. Right?
Yeah, right. Can you do that?
No. It's nothing like this. This is
okay, he's going to give you the information.
Therapy.
Considering
I will put it up on the screen again. So this is where we can find you. How are you doing? You doing okay?
Good, yes.
Are you hanging in there?
Yes, I'm hanging in there. I started my business in June.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So June.
Well, I've been a hypnotist for over 4.5 years.
So this is your shingle.
Right, empowering hypnosis. Yeah. Like I said, prior to that, I worked for somebody. And
so here it is. Again, you're over there on 8885 Southwest Canyon Road, Portland. Thanks for coming over from the east side today. And 971-777-2740 is the phone number at empoweringhypnosis.net. And you just the website is really informative. I'm putting it up right now. I mean, the first thing you hit the website is what is hypnosis, which answers a lot of these questions.
Right.
And is it about, myths versus facts? And just for Jason Allen,
you could see the
myths versus facts. Hypnosis, what you wanted to know, we're afraid to ask. Jason Allen, will I cluck like a chicken or dance like a chicken? Yes, if you want to. Just kidding. No, you won't. So right there on the webpage, I love that. It's just like, and I immediately said, oh, She must have talked to Jason because this is all he talks about.
I always wanted to do a video with a dead chicken kind of over my shoulder. One of those rubber chickens.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You said dead chicken, and
you're not a real one. Where is that mind going, Doc?
No,
just a rubber chicken.
I was thinking
for fun.
No, I was thinking like a voodoo scene out of a movie.
No.
Live and Let Die. That a chicken. And voodoo's coming out. And
this isn't going to be cut either, is it?
No. This is how our minds. But this is how we.
Right.
This is our hypnosis. This is how our minds work, which is just
scaring me.
A bowl of mush right there. And then this guy. I mean, it's between the two of us. It's like.
Just wait till we add the special effects.
We like to call it like Forrest Gump. It's like a box of chocolate.
You
never know what you're gonna get. So, you had a question. You had a question.
I'm full of questions because I find the motivating factors of this and getting someone to almost rewire the neurons and the brain just endlessly fascinating. Right?
The habits, though, habits.
Right. So we touched on phobias and we touched on like root causes to get all this. What about someone trying to get? Have you ever run into someone that's like, I know if I do this, this will happen, right? Is there almost like a hypnotic suggestion to, I wouldn't say shield, but kind of empower somebody in further situations down the road? Like, I know you're kind of anxious about this, but if you run into this, your tools are...
Oh, like giving them longer term tools.
Yeah.
Right. Hypnosis does really do that.
I'll get you turned just a little bit, Joe. Just a tiny bit over here.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You are changing your mindset with hypnosis, so it empowers you in the future as well. It's not just a one-shot deal. It changes you, where this is the way I want to live. This is the life I want. So let's say the salesperson. I work with a couple of people, one in particular I could think of, and she got up and made her presentation. She was flawless, and she continued doing that. It wasn't so she realized I can do this. So when she was in different situations, not just doing public speaking, but when she was out with colleagues or whatever, she was calm and she was in control. So it helps you in so many ways. Is that kind of
that's perfect.
Jason?
Yeah,
I'm not sure that did.
Yeah, because I always feel like when I get anxious about something, most people are very linear thinkers, right? A plus B equals C. We think in these rational sort of thought patterns. And I always find, at least my experience is, I'm always looking for angles. Like, I understand something one way, but if I try to come at it from another way, and kind of I get the idea that hypnosis kind of is those angles that you can break through just on a different plane of thought.
Exactly.
Because we are very linear by nature. We very procedural. A plus B equals C. I think this way because. And it's really when you're trying to not reprogram, but I guess almost kind of suggest reprogramming. It's the different angles. I never thought of like that before. Or, I feel more empowered because I understand something in a new way, right?
Right. And you know what? Honestly, if you just, it's so simplistic, but if you just take a moment sometimes, stop and take a few deep breaths.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They always say that, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You really kind of rewire your brain in that moment,
Yeah.
And no matter what it is, I mean, do I really want that donut? Just stop for a second and just think and breathe. What kind of pleasure am I going to get out of that? What kind of pain am I going to get out of that?
I'm terrible about that, and I know that works so well. Like if you're like in some situation, job or whatever, and anxiety, or you're angry or something, and it's always like, oh no, count to 10, take the deep breaths, just
Mm-hmm.
right.
The count to 10 doesn't work. I could take the deep breath.
Oh,
count
okay.
to 10 might annoy me. Just so.
Well, maybe that's just yeah.
Just do something simple. I'm sorry, Jason.
Oh no. I just literally popped in the old brain box here.
Mm-hmm.
How does like hypnosis work when encountering somebody with like ADD who's very impulse driven? Like, remember you say the stop and I need to think about it and stuff. What about like someone who's like it's just impulse, bam, 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 bam.
Asking for a friend,
right? Asking for a friend. No, is there does hypnosis work with I suppose the relaxing part of being able to kind of slowing things down in the moment?
Absolutely, it can do that. I mean, and kids, well, they're not the only ones that have ADD, ADHD. Adults, a lot of adults have that.
Again, asking for a friend.
Right.
So, you just, it's retraining how they think, how they, relax, and their suggestions. What do you really want out of this if you're an adult? I work with a kid who's anxious. He had just so many things. And, but he was so open to, because again, his mind is not, he doesn't have the preconceived notions. Yeah. And so they can see themselves changing. They can see themselves being calm going into that classroom, or sports anxiety, working with someone who maybe got hurt when they were doing something, and whether it's gymnastics or whatever, and it's holding them back, then having them go through it in their brain, see yourself do that, and then and I'll ask them, or say golf, okay, this is another one. Golf, see yourself actually, what shot do you want to make? I had somebody explain it to me exactly how, the swing, the this, the that, and we put that in session. He made it.
Wow. And
the kid made, what she needed to do, a tumble or whatever. She saw herself. The kids see themselves, hitting that ball, you could see it. Yeah. And it's in your brain, okay, because we've talked about it.
Right.
Okay, in your subconscious mind, you saw yourself hitting that ball. What? And you go out and you do it, and this is for kids and adults.
Yeah. What's the breakdown of like if you can think of what are the most that people come to you, the issue that is most represented by people who come to you. So you have sports was a great example. You have like stopping cigarette smoking or weight loss,
weight addiction,
public speaking. You mentioned, which I do know. Luckily, I guess I'm okay, but that is huge fear. You walk out and here's a microphone and here's a whole bunch of people out there. Hey, what do most people come to you for out of that kind of breakdown? What is it? A lot.
I'd have to say stress is pretty huge. Stress.
General stress.
Because, there's stress, there's weight, there's addictions.
Stress is the big one.
I have to honestly say stress and anxiety is really pretty huge, because that drives the bus in a lot of things.
2018.
I swallowed a lot of anxiety with a lot of donuts, right?
Yeah.
But there's, there's just so many things. I saw people for nail biting, the fear of flying, all those kind of things. Yeah. It's if it's a habit or a problem, behavior. I probably saw somebody for that. Like I said, where I used to work, I saw 8 to 10 people a day.
Yeah.
And for hypnosis, so I've been a hypnotist for 4.5 years, but I just opened my own in June.
Right.
Has it evolved a lot in the 4.5 years? As I won't say psychology, but medical treatments and stuff advance, right? All the time. How much has it evolved for you in the 4.5 years that you've done it?
You mean people might be more receptive to
or even within the
or,
within the hypnosis community itself, right? Like techniques and different stuff. How much? I mean, how much has it evolved?
there's always different techniques, and I follow different hypnotists to see what they do too. And it's always nice to um, see different things. Like this one hypnotist says, if I don't learn something new all the time in this field, I don't want to do it. And so I use different techniques, all the time. It depends on who they are, what they're there for, the kind of person, they are, who's more receptive to, different things.
Right.
So,
So you use technology.
I'm always learning.
So you use a little technology because you mentioned someone who can, like if they have agoraphobia, that like
Skype.
You can Skype.
I could Skype with them.
Skype with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
I haven't done it yet, but I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it's
coming up on Monday in Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Yeah. So how are you doing? You doing okay?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Still
good.
here.
You having fun?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not as nervous as I thought I would.
No. We're just.
I haven't drooled or anything.
No.
So it's good.
No, you leave that to me. Okay?
Yes,
Right,
exactly.
okay. Thank you.
That's our job.
That's great. Okay.
Right.
So I'm thinking about the sports too.
Right.
Like Tom Brady must like.
Oh my gosh.
Hypnosis.
Bill Belichick is hypnotizing Brady in the locker room.
You know what? There's a lot of professional people. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
They use hypnosis. You'd be surprised how many different.
Oh yeah, because when you see these guys come up, or guys, gals, whatever, go and do the big game, they have all the skills. They're the top of their game. They're the best.
In the zone, right?
Yeah.
You always hear that.
Right.
I'm in the zone.
And so it's
Hypnosis, you're in the zone.
Yeah.
At that point, it's all mental. It's all completely mental. And you see those big sports figures. You mentioned golf. You see that in golf oftentimes.
Yeah.
When like some guy is out there, or gal or whatever, and they're like at the top of the game, and they know everything. They've got the go, and then they just can't. All of a sudden, they get in the slump, and it's completely mental.
It's exactly right.
Because you always hear that 90% mental, 10 physical.
Yeah.
You hear also the term, especially like baseball and pitchers, the term psyching yourself out. You like anxiety in your head, and then
Is that why Brady is so good? You think so?
Yeah, I think he's more just Manchurian candidate. I'm gonna get hate mail from the Patriots fans, right? Oh, but
because they just like Giselle will say the word.
Darth Belichick's Jedi mind trick. Right? You will throw the touchdown.
Are they gonna win?
Oh, good question.
See, we have to. Okay. We have to address this.
Absolutely.
We have to because the Super Bowl. Do you watch the Super Bowl? No. Yeah. See. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not much of a American football fan myself. So Jason is. I'm not. Here's the deal, though. It's like the Super Bowl is like one of those big once a year kind of a one-off things.
Social then,
like,
right?
Yeah, and you get invited to like a Super Bowl party, right? So you like chips and dip, right?
Right. Yeah.
No chips and dip. No chips and dip. Just one time. So so it's kind of a thing, So I don't follow it either, but I've kind of like, well, I probably will watch it, and I probably think I'm gonna go over to some of these houses.
Yeah, I'm so much of a mixed mind about it because it's one hand it's you got Philadelphia Eagles who are riding on this high crest of.
If the Patriots win, this is like one of the records, right? The winningest.
Yeah, they are actually. Brady is. He'll have if he wins this one, he'll have 6 rings.
That's a lot.
Yeah, you'll have to start putting him on his toes and stuff. But from the whole game, it's the machine of the Patriots, right? This well-oiled machine. They've been there versus kind of like the Cinderella story, right? So I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and say just off the top of my head, again, I'm gonna get hate mail for this, but I'm gonna say probably the Patriots, just because they just seem to find themselves in this every year now.
They always
until they get beat. I'm gonna.
So I've heard the prediction that they'll be down at some point toward the end, and then it'll be because they've done this before, and it's again, kind of this ties in with the hypnosis. The mental, being in the mental state at the big game, right? And this guy, Tom Brady, who's probably is he one of the greatest quarterbacks to have?
I think after it's all said and done, he's
going to go down.
Probably, if he wins the 6 rings, you can't deny that.
I mean, he's
he'll go down as one of the top tier guys.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the top tier guys.
Yeah, and he'll be sitting next to Elway and Joe Montana.
Yeah. So he's a top tier guy.
I kind of want Philadelphia to win. Honestly, I kind of want them to win, but it's the heart versus the head, right? The heart says, well, Philadelphia, that wouldn't be so bad, but the head starts saying, dude, Patriots, they just.
Well, he's kind of so I'm kind of on the Tom Brady. Because he's kind of, he's not quite, he's kind of vegetarianish. He's kind of done the whole diet thing. See, that's another thing. Yeah. He's got he's like this guy. And he's already said, too, how old is he? He's late 30s, right?
Yeah, he is.
He says he wants to play into his early 40s.
I think he's 40 now.
Is he 40? Because I heard him, they asked, how long are you going to stay in the game? Yeah. And he said, I'd like to get into my 40s, and then, because usually that's, what was it, Staubach or one of those guys?
Oh, yeah, a quarterback shelf life, if you're lucky, you can make it mid, maybe to late 30s. But those are
a couple of those guys have made.
Those are the Elways and the Marinos and that. I mean, usually
one of those was it Staubach? One of those guys was into his early 40s. I want to say. I don't remember.
Yeah, Staubach, I think when he retired, he was around 38.
Oh, okay.
But I think, except for George Bland, I think Tom Brady, I think, is the oldest.
Oh, wow. So if he nails it, then he's. See, this is me, Joe, sounding smart, like I know what I'm talking about.
I am.
It's all hypnosis because I don't know.
I hypnotize these guys.
Darn thing about football.
Right.
But they believe that they can do it.
Exactly.
Right.
And nothing is going.
But I think it's relevant because this Tom Brady, this quarterback. I mean, you don't win 6 Super Bowl championships or five, right? This would
five at this point. It could be 6. Yeah.
Without somehow having your head screwed on straight.
Absolutely.
To win.
Yeah.
And then maybe deflating a football here and there, but
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've said when you see something on the field as it's going on, I always say he's willing that team down the field because you can see it. I mean, he's in the zone. It's going. Nothing can stop him. Yeah, right. And
that's that energy. And
there you go.
The team feels that energy.
That's exactly See, this is perfect because that's what a quarterback does. That's what Michael Jordan did with the Bulls.
Right.
That's what these guys.
All
LeBron,
the great ones.
Right. It's not just like you're sitting on your hands going, okay, I'm going to get some points. It's like I'm going out there. I'm getting the points. Look at me, team. I'm a winner. And you're winners too. We're all
And the real special ones, it's almost like, don't worry about it. Get on my shoulders. I'm taking you into the end zone. Right. We're going. And that whole focus and mental drive and the sheer will to do it.
But that's like almost like a group right? Because everyone.
You buy into it and
buy into it, and you're there,
and you're
all in the zone. And I mean, well, he's an individual, but look at Michael Phelps.
But it's still a team. It's still, and I think I heard him just recently say, well, look, it's a team sport. It's not just me, but it's still,
And I just said an individual, Michael Phelps. They kept saying, he's never going to get that last medal.
Oh, right.
Nothing was going to stop him.
Right.
He got that by what? a hair. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Well, that's
Because he believed in himself.
Yeah, and even just watching it, you believe. I mean, you're seeing it happen, and you're almost in the zone yourself watching this guy.
Mesmerized you.
Because I mean, you can. It's almost like a kinetic energy, right?
Right.
You see it, and you're like, wow, he's this is gonna happen,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what the whole sports thing is about. I mean, otherwise you're watching a guy throw a ball
right
into a goal, which is really kind of boring.
Right.
So when you watch sports, the whole story is, well, will Tom Brady be mental? Will he be in there? Will he be in the zone? The story, right? And it's like, Giselle burnt his toast this morning. What will he do? What will he do?
Right.
I'm being awful. I don't mean anything.
Well, no, but the funny thing also about that is I don't know.
Burnt his toast. Completely American football sexist right there. Just like,
well, but I've never met anyone who is more.
I doubt Giselle is making toast for Tom Brady. They probably have someone on the payroll for that, right?
Right, yeah.
Doc Normal, sexist comment.
Giselle, you burnt the toast?
Yeah.
But no, super.
Turned it into I Love Lucy, right?
Lucy,
how do you burn my toast? It's the Super Bowl.
You got some splaining.
Ricky. Oh, dear Lord. This is how it devolves, by the way.
It's
this
okay.
Is how our show.
I Love Lucy was one of my favorites, so you can
How
go
could
there.
you not?
How could you not love her?
This was the great one of the greatest shows on the television.
You had me at Babalu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But no. Going back to the sports, I've never met anybody as in a group of people that are as much superstitious as sports guys are.
Oh yeah.
Superstition has just rules. I've got to do things a certain way, or bad stuff's gonna.
That is a great question for our guest.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, is there some tie-in there, like being? So superstition, especially in sports, it's kind of like a ritual.
It is very ritual,
right? Because it's superstition, but it's kind of ritualistic. Is that kind of tying into what hypnosis is? Is it like triggers or something? Or
well, we all have triggers. Yes, you could have good triggers and bad triggers. So if that's something that they're looking at, that's their good trigger.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
why not?
Yeah, I would think that,
again, it's a positive thing. They've programmed themselves, their subconscious mind, that this thing, if I hit this bell before I go for a run, I'm going to beat, whatever my last. Because you believe it. You're programming yourself, right? You're changing your belief.
For me, it's socks and underwear.
Okay, let's delve into this.
Anybody going to touch that one? Anybody?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, did you look like a
go downhill from here?
No, I know. But it's like you have like you have a ring on, you touch the ring before you do something like that. So it's like
the lucky rabbit.
It could be something you're wearing, an article of your jacket. It's like, oh, I'm going to go out and do this big thing, so I'm going to put on my favorite jacket.
I wear one of the same rings every day. It's the birthstone ring of my daughters and grandchildren.
Right.
And every day, because that makes me feel good, makes me feel safe.
That reinforcement. Right?
That's right.
I lost my lucky ring.
Oh, there you go.
I know. But you know what? I said to myself, maybe that's the fate. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe it's like
you really didn't need it.
You don't need this anymore. You need to move on to something else.
See, you figured it out. You really don't need that.
Yeah.
But because you have everything that you need.
But I really liked it.
You have your subconscious mind.
Really
so you need to go get another one, but you don't.
That's exactly
really
right.
It.
That's exactly right.
I think that's really.
But I really liked
that.
it though.
Really wanted another one.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Your ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you should get another one.
Yeah. No, I mean that's.
Is this a hint for your wife?
In the
plan. You want another one?
My no.
No. Don't ever say that again. No. I'm gonna have to kill her.
No, that ring went away a long time ago.
Did you see that? It was almost like your wife. You know?
Jeez.
Is there a knife coming at my heart? I'm
No,
sorry. That was
no.
here.
Woo, it's getting late. Gotta go.
Although suddenly,
Poke me in the
Jill.
eyes here. Just
No,
poke me
no.
in the eyes.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
No, suddenly I'm seeing Angela Lansbury
Hold these.
showing up. Like I'm looking at.
Hold these.
okay.
I'm looking at Jason and I see Angela Lansbury and I'm
Oh
like,
boy.
what's this?
Are you saying I
back
look like
here?
Angela Lansbury?
Great.
Where's
great.
the
Any
senator?
weapons
Where's
over
the senator?
No weapons. I'm good. I'm
See
good.
now she's in that now.
Somebody's calling me. I think I need to go.
Oh, you do.
Yes, for
It's-
sure.
there you go.
Just lying.
Well, but man, dude, this has been great though. This is a really great discussion. I mean, this is very helpful and it's very understanding.
You'll forgive me for what I just said.
You know what?
Okay, it's gone.
You're
Done.
let me help you with this.
Ooh. See, you don't need that.
That's right.
Don't do the weird stuff.
It's okay.
Don't need to focus on that.
After all this time telling him we don't need that, he's there. See, doing that.
Yeah, but it's
doing
still
right
fun,
there. I have
though.
not convinced him.
We're in the forgiveness zone.
Yeah,
Right.
it's fun though.
Right.
It's always fun to do this.
Yes.
No. You know what we do here?
Yeah.
This here show. It's like Las Vegas. What happened? Remember the old thing? What happens in Vegas stays in
there,
Vegas.
Except this is recorded.
Well,
Yeah.
all right.
Well,
Then there's that.
Details.
We're gonna have a lot of editing. Stop. Take that out.
Details.
Details.
editing, schmediting.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. We're having fun. We're supposed to have fun. And you know what? You know what bums me out is you actually. Let's see. I forgot to bring in.
Yeah.
Because you're originally from New York.
Yes, I am.
You said you were
Happily.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Upstate.
Yeah. Where'd you
No,
go?
I'm from the real New York.
Oh, look at that.
Where?
Queens.
Queens.
I was born.
Ooh, yeah.
Queens. Yeah.
You know what?
The real New York.
After you,
Fitting for anybody who will come after me.
after you told me that
Take that, Sarah.
before we started, as I was listening to you talk,
That's right. You could
I
hear
detected your,
Yeah.
which I love. I
it.
love.
I do too. I try to control the accent as much as possible in hypnosis.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to go.
That's good.
Okay, relax now. Take a deep breath. You're calm. You're
Forget
good.
about it.
Forget about it. Yeah.
What's your problem today?
Right. I don't do that.
Hey.
Yeah. You got a problem?
Right. I was about to say that.
I
You
knew
got
you
a
were-
problem? What was the big? Okay, I know this has nothing to do with hypnotism, but I got to throw it out there. What is the biggest culture shock you had from New York to Oregon?
The biggest culture shock was I went from New York to
Arizona
Mexico.
or Mexico?
Oh,
Lived in
yeah.
Albuquerque. For
Yeah.
a long time.
Southwest, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I cried for 6 months.
Ooh.
Yeah, I
Not a fan of cactus?
Huh? Pardon?
Not a fan of cactus?
No, I was not. I was not expecting this because New York is,
Where do I get the bagels and the schmear?
You know what?
And the
Don't even
blitzes.
laugh.
Yeah.
That's
I
exactly
know,
one of the
I know.
culture shocks. There was
I know.
there was a deli on every corner, and all these people from all over the world, and this big.
They closed. Was it? Is it Katz's? What's the name? of that? The famous.
It wasn't Delmonico's.
No, the famous deli in
Katz?
New York.
Oh,
Where they're closing it.
I don't even. I know what you're talking about.
I think
but
it's.
don't.
I want to say Katz's,
Yeah.
but don't.
Yeah.
Again, what?
I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, there was a complete culture shock.
Yeah.
And that was tough. And coming here is different.
Those are three extremes.
They are
Like
they're
going from New York
very
City,
extreme. They are.
to New Mexico, Albuquerque, and then Portland, Oregon. So you've got big city, East Coast life, winters, all that.
Yes.
Desert.
Then you go to the desert.
It does have 4 seasons. Albuquerque,
Does it?
it does. People don't think that, but it does. Yes.
So it does. So it does have
Have
winter.
snow and
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, oh, it's high ground then. See,
well,
I don't
we're
know
not
a
as
lot about
high as Santa Fe, but it still gets
it. There is but it doesn't rain. You don't get.
It rains. Yeah, it does. It's just not like here.
Yeah,
But it rains. Not like here, but it.
I mean, you
rains.
moved to the rainforest.
I did. That was another cultural shock
Mm-hmm.
that I wasn't
I
ready
remember it
for.
rained once.
Yeah.
Once. Right. Yeah.
Well, it actually,
And then here,
interesting enough, we're actually having a relatively dry winter, which is really weird.
Right, and it snowed in New Mexico. My friends were all posting pictures up on Facebook for me, so I could see the snow.
Well, to be fair, last year was pretty harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't mind this weather right now after last year's winter, which is like we were all snowed in. But do you like Portland? You like the?
I'm getting used to it a little bit more and more.
How long? So how long have you been here?
Over 5 years.
Okay, so you're still relatively new.
Relatively new, yes.
I'm
I'm getting used to it. I'm getting used to the rain and stuff like that. You know?
Yeah.
And I was, I love the opportunity to be able to come here and work for somebody and doing hypnosis and then having my own. To me, this is something that, fulfills my life, being a hypnotist. I'm not kidding. I love it. Yeah. I absolutely love it. I just love to watch people change and get what they want.
Yeah.
So to come here and find this, that was great.
A lot of New Yorkers have come to Portland over the years. In fact, we just lost one of our mayors, Mayor Vera Katz, who was a long-time Portlander, famous mayor, did a lot of stuff to change the city, and she's originally was a New Yorker. But it seems like people like it. And when I used to travel to New York sometimes on business, which I love New York. I remember going there, and was that I think actually we did a thing with them. And so I'm walking down Manhattan, like it's late at night, I got to get some food or whatever, right? And everything's still open or whatever. And like Portlandia posters everywhere in Manhattan. I'm like, oh, no. Because I think we're actually, I hate saying native, but we grew up here in the Portland, and so my whole thing is, Portland was always like kind of underground, like keep it on the down low.
Oh, you're from Portland.
Yeah, no, it's like, I hear it's pretty there. It rains a lot, it's like, you should come visit and then leave. Yeah. I mean, no, that was definitely a Portland thing.
Right, I know.
It's like,
Right.
So you've heard this. And so, then the Portlandia, and then you're in New York, literally, like, I walk past, like, Portlandia season 2, and I'm like, this isn't good, right? So, but New Yorkers are cool. New Yorkers dig it. I guess they moved to the Pearl or something for the city, for the little mini city vibe.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, Portland was all over the place. It's the place to live. That's not why we moved here, but it was the place to live. But but New Mexico gets boring with it's a desert and
I've only been down to Arizona, but never been to New Mexico, and I think it would be interesting.
It is. There's lots to see. I mean, it's an amazing place for different cultures.
Beautiful down there.
It is pretty. It is
like in the desert kind of way.
But again, we have the different seasons and and the Native American culture is amazing.
Yeah,
I worked with them for many, many years. I was in insurance and and I worked for an insurance agency that was owned by them.
So you just answered. You see, we never even asked what you did before you.
What did I do before? I was an
insurance salesman.
A long time.
Insurance salesman. Wow.
Right. I did big groups and stuff like that, but that's a hard industry.
Yeah, it just seems like kind of. I mean,
nobody likes you.
Yeah, and then you're just like, well, were you were sales or?
I was an agent, but when in
you
Mexico,
have to do all of it, right?
Yeah, I was a director of an insurance agency, so it's tough.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, your job now is a lot. People more. Walk away with solutions and stuff.
They like you, they hug you. They don't do that so much in insurance.
What's the thing?
Yeah.
There's not a lot of hugging in
There's
insurance.
not a lot of hugging at all. There's a lot of yelling in insurance.
Well,
hugging.
That was I don't know. We do not want to get into that.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It's insurance and politics and all that stuff.
No,
It's like
we're not
lots of
big.
yelling and stuff.
Yeah, lots of yelling.
So now you're here in Portland.
Now I'm here.
Hypnotizing people.
That's right.
They don't, helping them lose weight and helping them
get on planes and
Yeah.
go over the water
Yeah.
and
Helping
stop
out not
biting.
yell during insurance meetings.
Right. Not.
Have you been back to New York recently?
No, the last time I was back was
Oh.
2009, and it was,
Oh wow! So it's been
yeah, it wasn't for a pleasant reason.
Oh.
Yeah.
You still have family there or not?
Yeah, I still have family there. Niece, nephew.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. But not too many.
Yeah.
Not too many. They've migrated out.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But
To other places.
to other places.
In Portland? No.
No. Some of them live in Florida. Actually, I have one daughter who lives in Arizona, one daughter who lives in Hawaii, and one daughter who lives here.
Oh,
So
wow.
Even my family, migrated in
You got a
different
big
places.
family.
Huh?
You got a big family.
I just have 3.
3 daughters. Well, that's
I
a
like
lot.
that. Yeah. But that's nothing compared to I'm Italian and Maltese, and those
Oh,
my
wow.
parents had
Yeah.
6 brothers and sisters each.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Italian.
Yes,
Oh,
Maltese.
wow. Mm.
My mom was from the island of Malta.
So you got some recipes. And,
Oh yeah,
Oh.
we were born with a
Yeah.
wooden spoon.
Yeah.
And,
Ravioli, I can cook that up.
yeah.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
We're all,
Digress.
it all
Get
went,
something to eat.
it all went quiet because we're all thinking
we
about
all
Italian
digressed
food.
there.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
we
See, that was the hypnotic, like the
right.
you heard
Maybe
the
that
stomach,
wasn't a good first
stomach going.
Yeah. You could have it occasionally.
Yeah. Well, they just got. I mean, they got so much great food there. It's like we got great food here too. Portland is a great food
It is.
place, but New York is big.
Oh, forget it.
so it's
New York
like
is great.
you can throw. They got like all night halal and stuff.
Oh, it's just
all that,
amazing.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So I'm a vegetarian, so it's like, but I was like in the village one time, and there was just all these restaurants and pizza places. It's like, oh, yeah, this is all vegetarian. Oh, great, I mean, it was really easy. Like
It is.
It's got tons of stuff there,
Mhm.
and it's all really good too. It's not.
Right. You're making me.
I know,
Homesick
I know,
now,
I know.
thanks.
But there's good places. Portland's always opening up good places.
That's
There's
what I
lots of good
It's crowded though.
restaurants. The places,
Yeah.
they are.
Right.
They are.
Very, very crowded.
It does. The good places in Portland open up, and you're like, oh yeah, I know. have you found any good food here in Portland? Like say something, like probably no bagels or anything, but
I love the Indian food here.
yes,
Indian
that's
food,
good.
The Thai food.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
the Asian food.
Oh, absolutely.
But probably not like Italian. Or,
I like my own.
yeah,
So, when you have your own culture, you're prejudiced against,
Yeah.
the other restaurants. My sauce is better than theirs.
oh yeah,
you call that Italian?
Right.
That is not Italian.
Right, that's not Italian. What kind of meatball is that?
yeah,
No,
exactly.
Who are you, Chef Boyardee? That's
Right,
not
which
Italian.
is out of a can.
Right.
Yeah.
So I avoid the Italian restaurant.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't say something stupid
Yeah,
and offend somebody. But yeah, I found a lot of,
yeah,
the places are great.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I know. It's like
Right.
I was like now I'm just like
Now we
I
digress.
know.
I gotta like
Food, which
no, that's
I've been,
fine.
yeah.
See, now you've learned the secret of how to derail us. Just bring up
Right,
food, and then we
right.
just go quiet and like just stare.
Eat
at the
nutritional, good food is what we're talking about. Okay.
Well, that's just it. Like the home cooked. Yeah,
Oh, it is what I talk about all the time.
yeah.
Get away from that processed stuff. Eat real food.
You could do like a cookbook or something, like the hypnosis cookbook,
camera. Oh,
and have fresh recipes. And that's the other thing too.
I think there's a lot of people out there that have already done that.
Well,
Yeah.
But
I
not-
could do one, two. Right.
but I mean, it's like that's one good thing about like Portland, the Northwest, Pacific Northwest. There's a lot of fresh
Right.
food,
Organic.
fresh vegetables and other
Yeah.
things.
And that's really kind of what we should be eating. That's,
Oh, yeah.
That's what our bodies understand and can digest. But the processed foods, if you could read some of that stuff on there, it's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah.
What is this? You know, all of a sudden it'll say blah, 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 P.
Yeah.
What does that mean? There's one P in there? I mean, you know, and then there's what is this? And I'm like, if you can't eat that, how can you digest that?
Yeah.
If you can't read that, I'm sorry. How can you digest that? You know, it's kind of scary.
I'm all about that, and then I went vegetarian vegan like 5 years ago. I want to say, and I've always been like kind of on the nutrition, like stopped with the fast food.
Oh yeah.
Back in the 90s, it was like, what am I doing to my body? I had a weight issue then, but then so I every ingredient, and there's stuff in there. In fact, there was a good article that I got, and you wouldn't believe, like when there's a substance they put in bread.
Yes.
That's made of either duck feathers or human hair.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not joking. It's called L-cysteine. You can look it up. It'll be listed, and it's for some sort of texture, something in the bread.
That sounds
You don't need it in bread. Period.
No.
0, you do not need that. There is no reason for it. I don't care if they say it's texture. No, go bake some bread, right?
Right.
Doesn't matter. You don't, shelf life, whatever. But when I didn't even know about that substance until I was like vegetarian. I was like, oh yeah, that's not. And you're like, what? I mean, you can look at this up. It will gross you out.
It already did. Thanks.
And they put it in bread.
They put plastic substances in breads too for longevity.
For doing stuff. And get a bread maker. Go down to Bob's Red Mill. Go get some flour. The yeast, a little sugar. This is boom, bread.
Right.
You're done.
It's like Wonder Bread turns into, geez, I wonder what's in this.
Oh yeah.
Anything that says enriched.
Yeah, and there's
there's good places that have great bread.
Well, there are. There's good bread. Usually it's like locally, and then if you can, my rule for bread is, if the ingredients are like one line, good. If you pick up bread and it's paragraphs of ingredients, don't buy it.
Yeah, but that's for anything.
Yeah, well,
true. If it's got paragraphs.
True.
Stay away from that. This can't be good.
I know. I'm gonna have to get hungry and everything.
I know.
So we should wrap it up. And we really appreciate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're wonderful.
Thanh you. It was great.
I
was nervous, and you guys.
No.
Earth than I thought it would be.
No.
Nervous about us? Forget about it.
Forget about it, huh?
Yeah. No, it's no. We just come in here and we did do this and we have a conversation and we learned a lot.
Yeah.
Good.
We learned a lot.
Yeah.
This is unusually content rich for.
Right. Right.
As we like to say, right? Otherwise, we just start talking about crazy ideas that.
No, I had tons of questions before we started, and I learned a lot. Very fascinating.
Yeah.
It is.
Fascinating.
So, you know what? I'm gonna put up your info once again,
so
that we'll end on that. And Jason, any final thoughts before we go? And we'll put up her.
Not really, just having
the Super Bowl.
Good
stay safe.
Safe weekend. Yeah, if you're watching Super Bowl at a party, don't drink and drive.
Oh gosh. Yeah. There's an item, designated driver, or you know what? Better yet, go over to your friend's house, do the Super Bowl party,
right,
and crash on their couch.
Sure.
Because that's what you should do.
That works.
Make a nuisance of yourself.
Or call a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lyft or whatever those things are.
Let's put our info out real quick one more last time, and I will go into my official FM voice.
Oh, are you going to do it?
That's right.
All right. You gonna?
Right. Oh, it's going to take me a bit.
Can you see it?
Yeah. Let's see. Today's guest has been Joe Hermann. We're talking about empowering hypnosis. Go visit her today. She's down there on the west side on Canyon Road. You can't miss it. You want to go see it. Do it today. Caller 5 wins absolutely nothing.
Jeez. So that's at 8885 Southwest Canyon Road, Portland, Oregon. And you can reach her at 971 777-2740. And you're at empoweringhypnosis.net.
That's right.
Is there an email there? Or that's
probably the easiest.
That's the easiest.
The email is maryjo@empoweringhypnosis.net.
Okay. Mary Jo at empoweringhypnosis.net. So
there you go.
Yeah. So yep. Good luck to the Super Bowl folks, and like Jason said, don't drink and drive.
Joe, it has been a hoot.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Fantastic. Folks, thank you for watching today. Of course, you can tune in on, about literally 5 minutes from now, you can probably watch the replay either on Facebook or any of the other platforms we're on. And just a quick reminder, our show now airs on Comcast cable here all across the great Northwest. Come to our Facebook page for dates and times coming up as we start, unrolling our best of videos. And I'm pretty sure now, I'm going to go on a psychic thing here, but I'm pretty sure this show is probably going to make the cut. So,
yeah, sure.
Not being too psychic.
It might take a while because we actually do, believe it or not, edit it for the TV.
Shrinking down 2 hours into 30 minutes.
Yeah, they're 30-minute shows. Yeah. So your friend Shauna, who's here with that's a 30-minute show on TV.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, Jason's like, how about and then
right.
But anyway, that's what takes time. But
right. So, Joe, thanks for coming in. All right, that's all we got. We'll see you next time here.
Pretty much how it works. So,
right.
All right, have fun with the Super Bowl. Thank you once again, Joe.
You are so welcome.
And thank you for coming in. You're wonderful. Keep up the good work.
I will.
And we'll see. Hopefully this all works here, the technical stuff, and we'll see you all later. Bye.
Live outside the box, but confess inside the box.